Good afternoon, everyone. So I hope you all are doing well. And first and foremost, I must welcome all of you to next IAS and this session on Anthropology Optional. And in this discussion with us, uh, we have Rishab. Rishab is the rank 116, right? He was the student of Anthropology Optional, and he made us all proud, and hopefully you would learn a lot from him. Now, one thing that I must say, that the journey to success is not an easy one. It requires a lot of hard work. It requires consistency, discipline, right? And it tests you from all directions. It tests you in and out, and it don't just test you. Rather, it tests your parents. It tests your mentors, right? It tests your friends. Effectively, I would say that the journey to success is a collective journey, right? But who should be credited for it? The primary credit goes to the person who was in the situation, who did the hardest work, who survived, you can say, the comments of the people, maybe the colleagues, maybe the neighbors, relatives, and that's a very tough task. Handling emotions is the toughest task for anyone, right? You can handle pressure, but you cannot handle torments. So in that journey, we congratulate Rishab once again. God bless you, dear. And we wanted to offer, this is for you. All the best. Please have a seat. Be comfortable. You want to sit there? Okay. He want to feel the way he was, right? तुम भी इधर ही बैठ जाओ. तुम बात करोगे, वैसे भी क्लास में करते ही हो. हाँ, please have a seat. Okay. Nitish is a very lovely kid. I know him from a long time. Okay. So to make your efforts easy for this session, I just tell you that how we are going to hold this session. कहाँ पे? कैसे सेशन चलेगा मैं थोड़ा सा आपको बता देता हूँ, ब्रीफ कर देता हूँ, and then you would be discussing everything with Rishab. Okay, so these are our results. It's mandatory nowadays to tell, right? Otherwise I would not have done this. Okay, so this is the flow of our discussion. I would be telling a little bit about what is anthropology, so that I can tell you people a little bit about anthropology. I would be telling you why this is a good optional subject, right? To sell it, right? And the third one is pedagogy, how we are going to achieve it, right? How we can do it together. And next, Rishab's strategy. So I would take just 10 to 15 minutes of yours so that you can learn a little bit about anthropology. And I'm also trying to set a tone you can say I'm just trying to break the ice for this discussion, right? That's what my job is here. Okay, so let's discuss the first thing. What is anthropology? So anyone want to answer this question except Rishab? Yeah. Study of humans. Okay, science. So can we say that it is a science of humans, right? Okay, so it's a science of humans. I want to put this in a different light, in a different format. So anthropology is systematic, or you can say a total study of humans. It deals with infinite curiosity about humans. It asks what, when, where, why, and how. When we say what, that means what anthropology studies. So it studies human. What of human? So it studies everything that connects to human. You may see here, everything that is part of human is subject matter of anthropology. When that means it studies the evolutionary aspect of human. It studies how we evolved biologically as well as socio-culturally. Third, where it studies the spatial distribution of humans in different areas. It studies how we differ from one geographical location to the another. That means people in Africa look different than Europe, than Asia. So why do they look different? So that diversity we try to understand. Now diversity is not just in physical features, rather it is in socio-cultural features also, right? There are different marriage patterns in different areas, different religious beliefs in different areas. So we try to understand the diversity, right? Next, we try to understand why. Why means, why do humans in different areas behave differently? We are trying to understand human behavior in different circumstances. Now, when we talk about human behavior, so is your behavior just a product of society, just a product of economy, just a product of ecology, or combination of factors? That we are going to understand, and this diagram would help you understand that only. The last one, how, that means how we have evolved, what was the process of evolution of biological evolution, and how we evolved socio-culturally. So these are some fundamental questions which are central to anthropological research and its practice. That's we are trying to understand here. Now, when we say anthropology, we say that anthropology study human in a holistic manner. That means every aspect in an integrated and holistic manner. That means if say you ask, sociology study humans, right? Political science study human, economics study human, history study humans. What is extra in anthropology then? What extra does anthropology do? Anthropology combines all of these. That means an anthropologist is a historian, is a sociologist, is a biologist, a political scientist, an economist, right? Even if you say that anything that humans or we people as a member of society studies is because of humans. कोई चीज हमारे लिए relevant है तो ही पढ़ाई हो रही है उसकी. Mathematics is being studied because we want to use it for ourselves, right? So everything is for us. So anthropology is a subject that combines the knowledge of all the subjects into one single backpack. Now, if you just look at this, this is a animal, this is a biological being. It has a connection with ecology. How? People living in hot and humid environment, they have darker skin tone. Those who live in colder environment, they have lighter skin tone. So your skin color is dependent on ecology, the environment. I think you understand the relationship between biology and ecology. Those who live in malaria infested region, they have sickle cell anemia gene more prevalent among them. You might have heard about that, right? So there is a correlation between ecology and human biology here. Next, you take ecology and culture. The pastoralist populations, those who subsist on animals, right? They sometimes, especially the dairying populations, they have higher frequency of lactate gene. That means they can digest milk sugar. So there is a direct correlation between pastoralist culture and lactate gene. Lactate gene is a biological product. So there's a correlation between biology and culture, right? There's a correlation between biology and society as well. See, inbreeding result in genetic disorders. Marriage between close relatives results in genetic disorders, and outmarrying promotes diversity and reduces genetic disorders. So there's a correlation between biology and society, right? Then you look at the relationship between biology and kinship, right? Why does you help your kins? Why does you help your kids? Is there anything related to biology in it? That means that is something biological कि आप अपने किन्स का सपोर्ट करते हो. Why nepotism? Let's put it that way. Why nepotism? So there's a book written by Richard Dawkins, The Selfish Gene. In that he says that gene is a survival machine. Gene want to survive. So any kind of such altruistic behavior towards one's kin is basically out of that gene. So there's a relationship between kinship and biology also. That is what he says, right? Then there is a relationship between biology and polity also. How? Patriarchy. Men. Why men is given more priority in the society? Isn't it? Power is with men, and even among men in the traditional society, who is more able rules. Somehow physical power, that is somehow related to biology also, right? So naturally it has some correlationship with polity also. Then you can talk about economy and biology, right? You can say malnutrition, right? Undernutrition or overnutrition, that directly affects the biology, right? You can talk about religion and biology. Circumcision, right? That is, circumcision is a practice that is found in some religions, so that naturally alters biology. So what we are doing in anthropology, we are looking at this animal and various intersecting aspects of human society and culture. We are not looking at human as just an animal, we are looking at various aspects together in one whole. Now it's not like that I have shown you one biological lens and connected everything with biology. I can connect all these things together now. There is a correlation between kinship and polity. More numbers in a family, more political power. In the simple society, the chief appoint their kins as the officials. There is a correlation between kinship and polity. There is a correlation between economy and polity also. Simple economy, simple political structure. Complex economy, complex economic structure, right? Complex political structure, right? There's a correlation between religion and polity also. In some countries, religious heads are political heads. Recently, all of you know, right? One of the religious head was killed recently, isn't it? That was the political head of the country also, isn't it? So polity and this relationship. Polity and culture, right? There are cultural norms that justify political power, isn't it? So there is a correlation between all these subjects, and anthropology as a subject try to understand the intersection of all these things. That means all these things combinedly, collectively influence human behavior, shape human behavior, that we try to understand in anthropology. Understood? So that's a simple description that I wanted to give. Next, I wanted to tell you why anthropology is a good optional. Okay. Many of you must be aware. If not, I can tell you that anthropology is one of the easiest, one of the most interesting, and one of the most scoring optional also, right? And that you can see in last 10 to 15 years of history, you can find that how anthropology has performed, right? So it is one of the most interesting subject. Why it is interesting? It deals about you. It tells you about yourself. अगर आप अपने आप के बारे में जानना चाहते हो, then anthropology is the best subject. If you are not interested in yourself, then anthropology is not. Second thing, it is very scoring subject also, right? Why score? Because there are some areas in anthropology. One you can take, say biology. Another you can take as in archaeology. इन दोनों एरिया में जो पढ़ लिया नंबर आएगा. सिंपल बात है, राइट? इट्स लाइक मैथमेटिक्स. लिख के आए हो नंबर आ जाएगा. So it's a scoring subject also. Minimal efforts and maximum output, that is the third key domain here. Why I'm saying so? Because if you put your efforts in a right direction, I can assure that anthropology can fetch you a very decent score with minimal efforts. And why I'm saying the cost effectiveness, cost means here effort is the cost, right? So When I say that it is effective, because it can help you in your GS, paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4, even essay and prelims also, even interview, right? That I don't want to take time right now. I would address it in the end if you want to learn more. It has a defined and a very short syllabus also. It has a very defined syllabus. Why it has a defined and short syllabus? Let me tell you, because anthropology is everything. Entire sociology is part of anthropology, entire political science, entire economics, everything is part of anthropology. No one can understand and study that much in 4 months. So UPSC has to take a very short aspect of anthropology and given to you. So what you learn about anthropology is very short part, it's very superficial part of anthropology. They cannot take you at much deeper level. It's not possible for you to address biology like a zoologist. नहीं कर सकते हो. That's why it has a defined and short syllabus. Even if you talk about the nature of questions that are asked in anthropology, around 70 to 80% of the questions are relatively simple. Some are, yes, analytical, and over a period of time analytical questions must be asked because you are flooded with data. Data की problem नहीं है, अब आपको analysis चाहिए, right? And the last one, it overlaps with almost every subject of GS, right? I would help you to understand this in the end of the session, how it overlaps, and even Rishab would help you to understand that how it overlaps with GS. Next is how we can do it together. That means the pedagogy कैसे पढ़ते हैं, right? The very first thing that I must be doing is the conceptual clarity. You must understand each and every term of the syllabus. You must understand each and every concept of the syllabus, because if you don't understand it, you cannot develop interest in it, right? I would try to connect the concept with your day-to-day life, even with the newspaper, whatever is happening in and around you. My job is to connect your anthropological insights, conceptual depth theories with the day-to-day life, and that's what I generally do also. Second, once you have studied, learnt about the concepts, then you must have something to revise, because if you reach home तो आपके पास कुछ होना चाहिए कि क्या पढ़ा है आज. तो I would give you dictation, a very concise notes, and I can tell you, I can assure you, right, if you do so, there's nothing left, right? We have a living example, a testimony in front of us, right? Provided you are connecting with the newspaper, you are connecting with the current affairs and other GS subjects also, that's needed. Third thing is, I advise all of you, I would guide also all of you to make synopsis. That means if there are 130 classes, 120 classes, make sure every class is on a single sheet. That's a simple task. If you do have that, so you can revise any day, right? Sometimes you may need to go to your original notes, but that would be easy, that would be comfortable, handy sometime. So it's advisable. Many of you do, many of you could not follow, right? But if you do, that's important, that's interesting. It would have the name of the scholars at one place, it would have the case studies written at one place, it would have the succinct information about a particular topic at one place. So that I advise you, you can say push you again and again to make synopsis of every class. With every class I ask you to write daily answers also, right? That means in every class I would be pushing you, nudging you, write answers, right? Now you have learned the concept, you have made the notes, you have made the synopsis, you would be looking at PYQs and you would be writing daily answers. This would be your icebreaker moment. That means if you start writing answers on the first day of your preparation, and if you keep on writing that for next 4.5 to 5 months, I can tell you, you will be very mature in anthropology. But it's a tough task, not everyone can follow it, right? Many of you may be sitting and smiling, right? It's a tough task, but yes, from my side, it's a regular effort. I do give questions, right? And if you do so, I can assure you the level of maturity and clarity that in the subject would be phenomenal. Next, there would be weekly tests, right? That also many of you skip often, but I push again and again, right? It's also important. And the last one is the advanced course. this is a kind of a thing that can transform your knowledge base from theory to applied, right? It is something that can push your marks also. It is something that can give you a lot of advantage also, but it cannot be done alone. You cannot understand anything in it, right? Everything would flow from your head. You need a lot of conceptual depth in it, because I cannot take simple questions here. Taking that would prolong the course also. So generally those who have done foundation clearly, conceptual clarity hai, they get a lot of addition in this, and naturally test series, right? So this is the way of learning. What it does, so it helps you in conceptual clarity, right? Conceptual clarity, or you can say conceptual depth. Then you would have something to revise, then you would have something to memorize, and then you would have something to reproduce whatever you have learned and memorize. If you don't do this, whatever you know is waste. Whatever you have revised is a waste. Whatever you have memorized is a waste. Conceptual clarity, this one. Concise notes for the revision purpose. Synopsis is for quick memorization. And these three things, test series and daily answer writing and weekly tests, are for reproduction of whatever you know, right? And naturally this is to take your preparation a little higher level and next level. Okay, so this is a quick discussion on anthropology. Now I would hand over the stage to Rishab. He would guide you, he would mentor you, he would help you uh, to, you can say, get a little bit extra in your learning, your stage of learning that you are in, right? So welcome Rishab, please do come and help your younger selves to achieve success. One more thing, Rishab, he would be a very good officer, right? And I wish that he join Indian Foreign Service. You can see his persona. He is excellent, right? He looks wonderful, and he would naturally address our country. You can say represent our country at various international fora also, right? So welcome, Rishab. Please do come.
Feels great to be on the stage. I've been on that side for quite a long time. Uh, Sir has already told most of the things about me, so I'll come straight to the topics. First thing that I'll discuss here is why anthro. Sir has told his perspective. I'll share mine too. So, the safest answer is choose an optional that interests you. Okay, end of the session. Just kidding. I'll give you an honest answer, not just a safe answer. I have been an aspirant. The first thing that I tried to look in an optional was, has it produced ranks recently? As simple as that. If that is not happening, I won't choose this subject because my purpose is to get a rank. Second thing is whether we have the necessary guidance and material available in the market. Pretty simple reason. Then, do you have any seniors who have chosen this optional and performed well? And lastly, what marks are people getting who have anthro optional? People might be getting ranks, but maybe they are scoring good in GS, essay, interview, you never know. So you need to have a look over the mark sheets. We have a very good student community now. People share their mark sheets, their interview transcripts. You must go through the data. You must take an informed decision. Choosing your optional subject is one of the most critical decisions of this journey. Then comes the interest, of course, because you cannot study a subject for a very long time if it troubles you, if you are not interested in it. I was naturally interested in anthropology. Why? Because uh, I wanted to choose humanities when I came in class 11th, but everyone was choosing science, so I chose science. And in science too, I was interested in biology, the human genetics part, not the entire biology. So after completing my engineering, when I was going through the syllabus of anthropology, I saw human genetics there. I saw archaeology, socio-cultural part, the Indian society, how family, marriage, these kind of institutions work. Why do we have religion? How the man has evolved over the time. All these questions were there in the syllabus. So I made my decision that I will choose this subject. And again, honest thing, we had many 300 plus scorers in anthropology at that time. So it became a popular optional. So I took anthropology, but from where to do it, that was not clear. Then a college senior had suggested me to take it from Sudhir sir. Before this, I didn't know the name. But another thing was that if a leading institute of UPSC preparation has hired a teacher, then they must be having some substance to it. They won't hire a random teacher. The teacher must have produced ranks in past. So I subscribed to the online course from Sudhir sir. At that time, I was also working. So I used to attend one lecture a day after my office in the night. And I have attended each and every lecture. I'm very proud to say that. In fact, one day, it was a Sunday morning, I had a plate of chole bhature with lassi. Even after that, I didn't sleep. I attended the entire 3 hour lecture. That's the dedication that is required. So once this first layer of optional was done, then I had resigned from my job. Someone had suggested that if you actually want to prepare for this examination, do something substantial before you step into this journey. So optional carries 500 marks. I decided to cover that first. In this time, I was just attending the lectures. Ideally, you should not be doing that. You should be reading the notes too. But I simply made class notes, and then once I had resigned from my job, then I started reading the notes for the first time. By this time, I had forgotten a lot of things. So it took me a lot of time to come back uh, on the track. Finally, I did my first reading of optional. That took 2 months. Then I focused on the GS subjects, studied for prelims, gave prelims, cleared it. Then was the critical time, the 3 months between prelims and mains. And at that time, I was pretty clueless because I had not made these synopsis. So you have the notes, you have the understanding, but you won't be able to write good answers because you cannot think much. Your answer writing speed depends on your thinking speed, and your thinking speed directly depends on the number of revisions that you've done. I had done just one revision. So while studying, I was enjoying things. But when I was writing answers, I could not recall anything because my retention was bad. In fact, in the real paper also, last year's mains 2024, I knew that I need to write either this scholar or this scholar, but I was not sure. There was a question on Homo erectus. This is an ancestor species of modern humans. So it's a pretty standard question. One should not do anything wrong in this question. I was confused whether it was discovered by Raymond Dart or by Eugene Dubois. Don't get scared, these are names of scholars who discovered few fossils. And in the real paper, this is a big problem because it creates panic. Only 15 minutes were remaining and I was confused. I did not score very good last year. I scored 230 in optional, and that is because of lack of revision. It's completely my own mistake. So this time I tried to improve on that. Since I had revised the notes many times, after my mains failure last year, I was simply doing answer writing and making synopsis. Synopses are very beneficial for quick revisions. For example, I made a sheet of all the scholars that we quote in paper 2. So the next time I don't need to go back to the notes. I just need to go back to that Excel sheet, and when I'm revising it for the second time, then I just need to focus on the highlighted things. So revision speed increases, number of revisions increase, your retention increase, your thinking speed increases, and that increases your answer writing speed also. So that is a pretty plain strategy, the same pedagogy that sir was discussing. What did I do in addition to this? I have read The Hindu regularly for the last 2.5 years, and I'm very proud of myself for this because reading newspaper gives you original content. When you have studied this subject for a long time, you develop an anthropological gaze. You look for the things that you can use in your answers. So same happened with me. We get a lot of content related to tribals, sometimes related to fossil discoveries, and of course the socio-cultural part, how the Indian society is changing. These are all topics of anthropology syllabus. And if you are able to extract content directly from the newspaper, your answers become unique. For example, a few days back, there was some news article related to Dal Lake restoration project, the Dal Lake in Kashmir. That project has been stalled now because it did not produce the results which were expected out of it. People were to be displaced from the area around Dal Lake, and they said this will lead to conservation of the lake and all the flora and fauna around the lake. But after some 2 decades, the project has been stalled because what they expected did not happen. So the gist is, displacement is not the solution always. Now, displacement is something which is a critical problem when it comes to the tribals. Paper 2 of anthropology, 50% of the paper 2 of anthropology deals with the tribals only, their problems, their solutions. So I knew this thing. Now we can use this example in our answers on tribal questions. That displacement is not always a solution. For example, the Dal Lake restoration project. Displacement did not lead to conservation. Now this thing will not be present in any kind of notes. This is your original content, and this gives depth in your answers. When the examiner is reading your answer, and they have also read the newspaper because these people love newspapers, it will click in their mind, ये मैंने भी पढ़ा था कभी, and they will relate with you. They'll get convinced, and that's what gives you an edge. This is a simple strategy. I have many friends who do not read newspapers. They have also cleared this examination. So we don't have just one strategy of cracking this exam. Everyone devises their own strategy. I decided to stick to the newspaper because I enjoyed reading it. I thought I'm getting unique content out of it, and I was able to do this. Someone else may think that they are not getting content from the newspaper, or they are taking 2 or 3 4 hours to read the newspaper. Then it does not make much sense. So earlier we used to have this monological approach that do this, and you'll be able to clear the exam. For example, uh, all of you are aspirants. You must have gone through the essay strategy that toppers tell. So earlier we used to follow a pestle approach: political angle, economic, social, technological, that basic thing. So earlier it used to work, but now it's not working. Earlier, in order to score good in essay, almost everyone used this approach. So there was just one logic, monological approach. Now we have a polyvocal approach. Every other topper has a different strategy. I'm telling you something else. You may believe in it, you may not believe in it. You can question it, you can criticize it. I support you on that. So this is a theory in anthropology, postmodernism, that there is no one logic. We have multiple logics. Everything can be criticized. There is no single theory. In fact, we cannot generalize anything. And lately, I've been very inspired from this theory. So what I did here was that I integrated a thing of our subject in this talk. It was not required, but this shows that I am living anthropology. You need to live and love anthropology. This will naturally build interest in the subject. When you read something for the first time, you enjoy it. Not just for your optional subject, even your polity, economy, geography. How does a cyclone form? I'm sure it was very interesting to know when you read it for the first time. But it's very boring when you are revising it for the 10th time for prelims. So, if you develop an interest through extensive research, like if you attended a lecture here, then you went on to home, you gave a reading to your notes, then you started Googling using ChatGPT, searching more about it. So that ignites an interest, and the interest helps you sustain with that optional. So choosing an optional has different parameters. Interests helps you continue that. Apart from this, I believe when it comes to mains preparation, not for prelims, for mains and for interview, of course, having a peer group is very important. If you have friends who are serious about this exam, and if your friends have the same optional, it helps you a lot. I was lucky enough to find a couple of these people. They have scored good in Anthro too and got a rank this year. We used to discuss topics of anthropology before mains on Google Meet, and we recorded all those discussions. So the approach was simple: you study this topic and teach me, I'll study this topic and I'll teach you this. So there is an exchange, reciprocity. You'll study this in paper 1, economic organization. This helped in retention. When you are listening to something in someone else's voice, in your own voice, you retain the information. And those recorded audio of our meetings, we used to listen to it while we were walking, while we were doing chores. So the task became very easy. You don't need to read again and again. These were some of the additional things that I did: newspaper, peer group, Googling, and ChatGPT. Apart from that, I would suggest you to stick to the notes. Don't run here and there. I know people who supplement one set of notes with another, and then they get some toppers notes also, because the topper has got 300 plus marks, so their notes become best, and then everything mixes. You can't do even one set of notes. You get panic and then you lose. So don't fall into this trap. You need to trust your sources. This trust is very important before the mains examination, because that is a very tensed situation. Sir has been very optimistic throughout the exam cycle. He sent me a personalized wish before the mains exam, and that helped me gain the necessary confidence. So I'm sure if you are here, you have decided to choose anthropology as your optional subject. The strategy that I followed, I have discussed with you, and I would always suggest you to supplement your preparation with your own efforts. Like the newspaper thing I discussed, you can do something else too. Before the result, I think one week before the result, I came across a YouTube channel. The entire content was AI generated. It was in conversational form, like two people are discussing anthropology topics, and it was so interesting that I wanted to study again. In fact, I was planning to study again anthropology, because I was not sure about my result. Being very honest, people say that they were expecting a rank, but the truth is nobody knows, and everyone is in that liminal situation before the results are out. Liminality is a concept in anthropology that you'll study. Uh, it's a feeling of statuslessness, normlessness. Like before the result, everyone is same. We were all aspirants without a rank. After the result is out, everyone gets a tag, their rank. It becomes their status. Someone in the top 10 has a higher status. Someone who did not clear is considered to have a lower status. So the liminality breaks. So in that liminal situation, I enjoyed a lot, because that feeling of oneness, the feeling of communitas is shared feeling. For example, uh, I'm sure some of you might have written the prelims already, maybe mains too. When you are outside the exam center, your parents are waiting. You are writing the exam, all the parents are there. So there all the parents have a shared feeling that our child is giving this exam, one of the most prestigious exam, we have to take care of him or her. Their identities, their occupations do not matter. So that is the concept of communitas you'll study in paper 1. So this was my basic strategy. I'm open to questions if you have something specific. It can be even related to GS or SA. So we can start the Q&A now. Yes. I did not write any weekly tests since, but see, take it with a pinch of salt. I was working at that time. I did not have the time to do these weekly tests. Ideally, you should be doing. But if you have not done these, are you out of the game? Not at all. Daily answer writing, I did after my mains failure last year. Sir had started an initiative where all the foundation students, like who have been part of the foundation course in past, they were given access to free daily answer writing, and they used to evaluate your answers, one answer a day. So that was pretty helpful because the time after mains is very difficult. You don't want to study. So in that time, if an external nudge is there, like daily answer writing, uh, your continuity remains. What else? 28. So if you are here, I'm assuming that you've made your mind to appear in this exam. Like, are you working anywhere right now? Okay, okay. So optional, you can start, I think. Optional subject, I also did, like when I was working, I did optional only. So it helps later because it takes a lot of time to understand things, to make notes. Took me around 4.5 to 5 months. So if you start now, it will help you. Apart from that, start doing a cursory reading of the standard books, even for the GS, like the NCRTs and Lakshmika Anthropology, these kind of. You can start. 2028 is not too far. It's, my basic sources were the class notes. Apart from this, I did selective reading of few standard books like uh, Nadeem Hasnan for paper 2, few topics from P. Nath, biological anthropology, and I did cursory reading of Ember and Ember also, but only selectively. Like, do it for understanding. Don't make it your base notes that you are reading it for 10 times. That is not required. Basic source should be one. Yes. Okay. I think I was naturally interested in humanities, like already shared. Uh, how to develop an interest in humanities subjects. GS is something that everyone has to do. In optional, you have this leeway of choosing your optional. You can also choose your engineering subject if it is there in the list. But GS, everyone has to do. And it will help you even after you get selected. It gives you a multidimensional perspective, like how the geographies affect the economy, how the economy affect the society. One should be naturally interested in these kind of things. If you are facing difficulty, I would suggest start slow. Go for the NCRTs. Class 11th Geography NCRT, very interesting book. Like, I used to find a new thing every time I read it. Even today, if I read it, I will come come across a new thing which I had ignored earlier. And having done engineering, doing these slim books will be an easy task for you. So start doing that and then shift to the other resources. Uh, now you can also take help from the compilations, like I'm not sure, but they give notes for even the NCRTs. So your task has become even easier. Wherever you are facing conceptual difficulty, like you are not able to understand things, then you can seek help from maybe your friends who have humanities background, or simply converse with ChatGPT. It's very good at it. Don't type prompts. Just start a conversation. Tell it that teach it like I am 10-year-old. Then it simplifies the things. So even your GS subjects will become easy. You can try these things. Anything else?
So for anthropology, do we need to solve each and every PYQ, or is it good enough to write few of them and understanding the idea of others? Like when I read those, there were a lot of repetition, and there was some questions which is directly into my notes. I have read from sir. So what is the thing which I should do?
See, ideally, if you have time, like she'll be appearing in 2028, then you should target to cover all the PYQs from the last 15 years. It will have a lot of repetitions, of course, so your task will become easier than it appears. Did I do all the PYQs? No, it was not humanly possible for me. And I tried, like I started, and for socio-cultural part, I had covered most of the PYQs. But then moving forward to biology, when I saw such a huge pile in front of me, I thought, okay, we can do 5 years PYQs also. So you can simplify your tasks. Once that is done, then make new targets. And a lot of it gets covered in the notes itself. So try to, like, we have different kind of PYQs, okay? Don't spend too much of your time on direct questions. Spend time on analytical questions which were not present in the notes, because every year lately we are seeing an analytical paper now. Every year we have bouncers. You would have a vague idea about things, but you won't have a ready-made note on it. So are you able to address these kind of questions, these kind of PYQs? Test that. But yes, since we have a lot of repetition, you cannot ignore this. I used to write PYQs and get it evaluated from someone. Those PYQs I did not write in time limit. I took enough time to write those. And those answers were so good that I referred to them even before this mains. Because when you put effort into something, you try to do your best. The bad consequence of this was that I could not do all the PYQs. Still, there is a scope of improvement in my optional score, of course. Had I done all the PYQs, maybe my score would have been better. So there is no one way of doing things. Postmodern world.
Sir, second question is that what is the importance of synopsis? Like I'm making that for anthropology, and I have also made that for another subjects. But for anthropology, it's going good because it's having a reputation and it's having a lot of scholars which I need to remember. But it is worth in terms of time to doing economy and polity others.
See, this is a very valid question. Making synopsis of all the topics is not possible. At least for me, it was not possible. Even in anthropology, I do not have short notes for all the topics. For some topics, it becomes very important. For example, the anthropological theories. The class notes are very comprehensive when it comes to this topic. I had made 98 page notes for the anthropological theories. I have revised them, I don't know how many times, because that is the core of this subject. For archaeology, you must have short notes for sites, scholars, like who discovered what site, the diagrams of the tools that we need to make. And because archaeology also is a very uh, bulky subdiscipline. Then I did not make short synopsis for the socio-cultural part because I thought we have 5 days before the mains, right? Exclusively for your optional. So if you are making two short notes, then you might lose the necessary content. Like your notes are getting degenerated with each cycle. First you had class notes, then you had short notes, then you had synopsis. So you'll miss out on important things. Why do you need to make very short notes when you can cover the entire comprehensive notes also? So 5 days is enough time. Again, like for some topics you have to make short notes, theory, archaeology, these kind of things. But you can be selective on that. Like I made synopsis for 50% of the topics. If you can make for all the topics, amazing. But uh, whatever is humanly possible for you. So you can shift your attention towards other disciplines maybe. Uh, like someone has a strength in GS, so they put more time there. They cover only selective synopsis in optional. And in GS, short notes are more important, I think. If you are making your own, well and good. But you can also rely on ready-made notes. I did that for GS. But my mark sheet is very leveled. Like I'm not a topper in GS, I'm not a topper in anthropology, but everything is decent. So that is possible with my strategy. If you want to score very good, then maybe you'll have to put the extra effort. I did what was possible for me. It involves a risk also, because you can never be sure about your interview score. So that is it. Uh, Small incident I want to share. Yesterday I met an IPS, senior IPS, and we had a very interesting, very enriching discussion. He told me, like at the end of the discussion, he told me you must have scored this much marks in interview. And I asked him, sir, how can you be so accurate? He had not seen that mark sheet or that list of marks of recommended candidates. So he told me, it is very evident from our discussion, the way you entered the room, the way you greeted, the way we have been talking for the last 30 minutes. So it's not like interview is completely vague, interview score. There are a few parameters. You can work on them. We should not be blaming luck before putting the necessary hard work. That is it. Thank you.
So my question is regarding synopsis only. So how to include the data in the synopsis? What are the like newspaper or any site? I want to know that.
See, synopsis is simply like you are trying to recall everything that you've studied. So it's like you have a sheet of paper. First you studied the comprehensive notes, then maybe you had concise notes, then you are making synopsis. You are trying to recall everything. So that comes from your basic source only. Newspaper and the supplementary things that you are doing, that you can either add in your concise notes, or you can make separate notes for that thing. Like I made digital notes. Whatever I found in newspaper, I used to add in OneNote. I had a tab of anthropology in OneNote, biological anthropology, tribal, socio-cultural, miscellaneous, hominins, archaeology. Every section was there, and I simply used to copy paste from the newspaper or whichever source. Like if I'm surfing on the internet, I found something very useful, I used to copy paste it there, and I used to regularly revise those digital notes. When I'm revising it, I highlighted it. Like suppose I had copied a paragraph from the newspaper, when I'm reading it again, I will highlight only the important keywords or important part. So the second time I'm reading it, I'm reading only the highlighted part. So this way it works. You can integrate in your concise notes also, but then again, your call. I thought this exercise will consume a lot of time. Like I'm compiling everything. If it is comfortable reading separate notes, then you can do it that way too. Yes.
What are the other benefits of
of opting anthropology other than UPSC journey? Like what are the other fields we can pursue?
So sometime back, someone had asked this question on Reddit. Uh, how do you justify your optional? Why did you choose your optional, whichever it is? There, like, I had convinced myself for anthropology. I had answered, uh, like, we are hoping to administer people. If we want to administer people, we must first know the people. And this discipline, anthropology, studies the humans in the most holistic manner. So we'll know humans inside out. You can, if you are convinced by this reasoning, well and good. Otherwise, like whatever thing you do, you can do a business, you can become an IAS officer, you can do a corporate job. It is all about working for people and working with people, right? If you are in a business, you'll be working for clients or your customers. If you are an IAS officer, you are working for the citizens. So if you are, anything that you are doing is working for people and working with people, we should know the people first, how they think, how they are organized. Paper 1 especially deals with the socio-cultural part. You will study the nature of society, the institutions. Why do we have marriage? Why do we have family? Was it even required? Why do we have religion? And why do we have different occupations? Like different populations have different kind of subsistence strategies. Someone is a hunter gatherer, someone is a pastoralist, someone is an agriculturalist. So it studies the human in the most holistic manner. So like you will develop a natural interest in this. Thank you. Oh, I'm from your college only. Oh, yes. Acha, acha. First thing, don't be harsh on yourself. Like I am a vehement opposer of those people, like with all due respect, who say we studied for 14-15 hours. I think everyone who says this is lying. That is not possible in the long run. My long term average was 7-8 hours, and I think that is what is humanly possible. I used to start my day with a cup of black coffee and my digital newspaper. It took around 1 or 1.5 hours if the newspaper is too good, sometimes 30 minutes. There have been days where I did not find any relevant thing in the newspaper. So making notes out of newspapers, that is not a very difficult exercise, because you'll not be finding important things daily. Then you can divide your time in slots. When I was studying for the first time, uh, I used to study anthropology in the night, so 3 hours were allocated to this subject, and the day was for the GS subjects, the standard books. I use that app called Forest where you can track your hours. You can find your own way. It was helpful for me because initially counting the hours can be a good strategy. I did for the first 1.5 years, but later it like it becomes your habit, and your study does not depend on the number of hours that you put. Sometimes you are just sitting on the table to complete that 7-hour clock, 8-hour clock. If that is happening, shift to the target based approach. I have to complete this. But for initial months or maybe the first year, you can depend on the R based study strategy. That's what I did. Yes. It has both the parts, socio-cultural part, the anthropological theories, largely conceptual, but it also involves case studies, names of the scholars. You have to cram it. No solution for that. How to do it? I made an Excel sheet for the scholars. Like, first, you'll have, I think the entire course will give you 4 registers, 300-page registers of notes. You cannot read it again and again. Like, you cannot find the name of the scholar, handwritten notes, not even, you can't even search. So what I did was, I made an Excel sheet for all the case studies, all the scholars, and I simply typed those names. So I have something where I can search the name directly. For example, what are the contributions of Dr. Malinowski? I can search for Malinowski. All the work that we have studied in our notes will be there in this sheet. So this way you can revise in less time. Next time I need to revise, first I'll go through the sheet only. What all scholars I have studied, what all case studies are there, because these can be used, same case study can be reused again and again, different topics. So that can be one way.
So,
For anthropology, current affairs become important in paper 2 and biology largely. In tribal especially, current affairs are very important. Recently I saw in newspaper, we have developed an AI translation tool which will be used to translate tribal languages into other mainstream languages. This you will not find in notes. It's a very recent thing. We just had tribal business conclave in Delhi where different tribal entrepreneurs showcased their art and their products. This will not be there in the notes. So all this extra effort will come from the current affairs. Secondly, you will get very good fodder from the newspaper, like even case studies. We had this Great Nicobar project was very much in the news. You might not find in your notes. Like I did not have it because I did earlier. If you are doing foundation now and you'll be appearing in 28, say, things will change a lot. So there the importance of current affairs comes. We had this Hasdeo Aranya forest protest. That also can be used at a lot of places. The Dal Lake example that I gave. So these kind of things will give originality to your answer. Otherwise, even the examiners know that this is coming from that blue book which everyone studies.
so
Yes.
what was the prelims strategy of yours? And so second question is, after clearing prelims, means how many minimum numbers of tests you've given for the anthropology?
Okay. Prelim strategy. My strategy has been very plain when it comes to prelims. I did not do a GS foundation. I did the standard books like Lakshmikant for polity, NCRTs for geography and history, art and culture, that class 11 NCRT. Economy I did from a teacher's notes, and I continued just re-revising these things, made notes wherever required, and then comes the importance of PYQs and tests. Whenever you are studying a subject, like now you must be making plans for prelims, right? So suppose you have allocated 7 days for polity. First go through your book, then go through all the PYQs that have been asked in the last 13 years. Then again go to the topics for which you could not mark the correct answers. Then move to the next subject. When one cycle is completed, again start with polity. Then complete the cycle, again start with polity. I think 3 cycles are enough for clearing prelims. Don't chase current affairs too much. I was very selective. Did not made prelim specific notes from the newspaper. We have these compilations for current affairs. I did for only few subjects, like where current affairs are important, like international relations, environment, science and technology, not for every subject. That was the basic strategy. And attempting tests is important if you are in your first attempt. Like you have to write a lot of tests. Then onwards, you will find your strategy, like what works for you, what not. So one thing that you all can do is attempt the open tests. Different institutes conduct these tests. See all the wrong answers. Divide those wrong answers in 3 categories: silly mistakes, lack of knowledge, lack of revision. With subsequent tests, you need to minimize the silly mistakes and lack of revision, wrong answers. Don't worry about lack of knowledge questions. Test series contain a lot of random questions. There is no end to it. Don't start making out notes of all the tests. That was the plain strategy. And lastly, most important thing in prelims was confidence. Fooling yourself before the D-Day. I used to write journal before every stage of exam. Like not a regular writer, but just before the exam. So I used to tell myself, you have done all that is required. तुम्हारा नहीं होगा तो किसका होगा? That kind of attitude. I know थोड़ा ऐसा sound करेगा, but then you are talking to yourself. That's a self-talk. तो दूसरों के सामने तुम humble ही हो. But you have to fool yourself to ace in prelims. Yes.
First of all, congratulations. My question is, were you asked questions regarding anthropology in the interview process?
Sorry, I did not understand.
Were you asked questions related to anthropology optional in the interview process?
Oh, I was not asked a single question about anthropology in interview. I was not asked a single question about engineering in interview. Not even a single question about my state, my district. Now you must be curious. But they have been very generous in marking. So I'm grateful. We'll share my transcript if anyone is interested later. But they can ask questions related to anthropology. You can never be sure. I know people who were asked many questions related to anthropology. But interview questions from optional are not that difficult. If you have studied the optional, if you have scored good, like if you have reached the interview, you must have scored good. So you can deal. Don't worry about it. Worry about mains. Okay. Which year was it? 23. That was a tough CSAT. Okay. That happens. In fact, this year CSAT was difficult. Last year was too easy. So everyone got complacent. People did not practice CSAT. You have to do the required practice. You cannot assume that last year it was easy, so this year it will be difficult. Last year was difficult, so this will be easy. They can surprise you anytime. Do the required practice for CSAT, like allocate a couple of hours daily in the last month. I think that should be sufficient. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Hmm. 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 The questions, yeah, yeah. Like I mentioned already, what kind of questions are you getting wrong? Were were the questions from the standard sources that you got wrong, or were they entirely new questions, like the lack of knowledge questions? Don't judge yourself on the basis of a random test. The thing, like the reason why I mentioned open tests was that you won't become accustomed to the question making style of one institute, right? Like when you are writing a test series and you are writing all the tests, you will start scoring good towards the end because you understand how they make questions, how to get it right. But when you are attempting tests from different institutes, this will not happen. You will develop the skill of spontaneity. Like whatever comes in front of you, you'll be able to deal with it. So our aim should be that spontaneity. And do not get questions wrong from the standard sources. I think this can be tackled from multiple revisions, right? Confidence might be an issue for some people. Like if you face that, then start telling yourself, start doing self-talk that you have done the necessary practice. You have to trust your sources and seek help wherever required, maybe from a friend, like how are they clearing it, talk with them, discuss the previous year paper with them. Like a couple of my friends did this with me. After they got to know that they could not clear the prelims, they discussed the entire paper, like how did you think in this question in the exam hall. So that kind of exercise is very helpful. Start doing this. Yes ma'am. ये तो वायरल होने वाला क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया. हाँ, I can understand. I have used, like, not sponsored of course, I have used Uniball I. It's a very good pen. Uniball I, 0.7 mm nib. It's a use and throw pen. Good part is the ink is waterproof. So if you have a sweat problem, of course during the month of mains, we have this issue. So your words will not be distorted even if a drop falls on it. And you can try it. If it does not work, go for Pilot V7. That is also a good pen, but the ink is not waterproof, I think. Trimax. I tried Trimax, but the nib appears very rough. Try Uniball once, then you'll see the difference. Like the ink flows. Not sponsored again. Yes. Yes. What is the other subject in option? Sociology. Eternal issue. Actually, these are sister disciplines, and you'll find a lot of similar things. Socio-cultural part of anthropology overlaps a lot with sociology. If you have to decide between these two, see if you are interested in the other parts of anthropology. Like anthropology is very diverse. It includes biology, includes history, archaeology part, of course the socio-cultural part, and a lot of it deals with the tribals, these kind of things also. Sociology is pretty plateaued. It's about sociology only. So if you are good with the biology part and the other parts, then you can choose anthropology. And if that is not the case, then you can both are performing good these days. This is an anthropology open session. I should not say more. I mentioned that reading of standard books should be cursory. You should not make them your notes. Okay, that is there to build an understanding of the discipline. For example, I was not able to understand this topic of folk urban continuum. It's a topic in anthropology. So I studied it extensively from the standard book, and then things became clear. So you don't need to go back again and again. Maybe if you find something new there, add it to your notes, take a picture of it, add to your digital notes if you are making. This kind of exercise can be done. But see, in book you will find a lot of important things. It will appear to be important, and you'll be tempted to add it to your notes, but don't fall for it. uh, Again, you have to trust your source. if you are if you have made these your basic notes, then you don't need to have another set of basic notes. Just supplement it, read it for understanding. uh, like complete beginner. So first you'll have to build a foundation, go through the NCRTs. Once you are done with that, I think this would require good amount of time, maybe 6 months. Then go for the main specific subjects. Like some subjects we don't study for prelims. So main specific subjects, side by side you can do optional. Like when you are studying the foundation level, you can study the optional side by side, one lecture a day. Just make class notes, don't do much. Then answer writing shall start only after you have gone through the main specific topics also. You can join some courses for that, like where they make you do live answer writing. On YouTube also you can find a lot of free initiatives. I cannot take names here. So this this shall continue till January. Like if you're giving it for the first time, I would suggest from January onwards you should shift to prelims exclusive preparation. So how many months? 7 months something you have. In this you can complete your optional, the class notes, and your foundation level. Rest of the things can be dealt later also. CSAT depends on the individual. Someone might be very good naturally, someone has to put a lot of effort. So depends on your background, your aptitude when it comes to mathematics and all. If you are not good in it, start giving time to CSAT few months before prelims. Like from January, if you are starting exclusive prelims preparation, Feb onwards you should give an hour to CSAT also if you are weak in it. Year-long mains test series, no, but I had joined SIR's test series after failing mains last year, so the same was continued after prelims. I was able to write 4 tests before prelims, sectional tests, and rest after prelims, around 4 or 5 this time. Anthropology, you should not stick to any general template. Like in GS, we are suggested give your answer in a point format. Don't do that mistake here. You have to meet the demand of the question, that's it. Answer what is asked. If it requires elaboration, shift to paragraph. If it requires enumeration, shift to points. You have to do a mix and match of both the things. Rest, like we cannot have a single template. We have different kind of questions, like biology questions have to be answered in different manner. And for topics, we can have templates. Like economic organization is a topic where they ask about different economic organizations like pastoralist societies, agriculturalist societies. So there you can have a template beforehand that first I'll tell what is their geographical location, what are the tribes, and what are their features, physical features, social features. Similarly, in the questions of hominins also, hominins means the species of our ancestors. So there you can have a template like what was the time period, what was the climate when these were inhabiting the earth, when was it discovered, what are their physical features, what do we know about their cultural features, what is their phylogenetic status, means where do we place them in the evolutionary history of human. So this is a general template for hominins. Similarly, you can have for primates. So topic wise templates can be there, especially for the biological part, but not for the socio-cultural part. Yes, ma'am.
Aspirants like us who are too young to start this exam, so it is a good decision to invest our youngness in this exam. Or we should find
See, if you clear, dots can only be connected backwards. It will all make sense later. I know people who are very motivated even after failure. They convince themselves that maybe we didn't clear this exam, but the things that we learned here, the learnings will help in other careers also. For example, uh, anthropology will give you a perspective. You'll start seeing things differently. You'll try to find anthropology everywhere. So if you are content with it, if you are satisfied with that, then it makes sense. And again, this is a very individual thing. Like I can only prescribe you something after knowing everything about you, like what is your background, your financial condition, your track record. So maybe seek help from some mentor if you are confused, but if you are here then you are interested. So I can tell you about myself. I do not regret at all. Even before the result my statement was same. I had quit my job, pretty stable job, everyone was doing, I was also happy there, constant income, but I decided to quit because I wanted to live a relevant life. A life that is just restricted to yourself, your family. Nothing bad in that. You can do that. Most of the people are doing that. But if you want to do more, you want to make sense of your life, go for the big things. Pep talk. Yes, what else? I was lucky enough to not fail in prelims. Uh, I think the main power was command on the standard sources, static, not chasing the current affairs. I got, like, whatever suggestions I got were helpful. People did not deceive me. I was lucky there. But yes, prelims is kind of a gamble. You can not know the answers of all the questions that you are attempting. So there, confidence helps, like I already discussed. After a point of time, you have to believe in your peripheral knowledge. a lot of questions will be correct on the basis of intuition, peripheral knowledge, like something that you study long back, something that you saw in newspaper, something that you randomly saw on YouTube, for example. That cheetah question was there, I think, last year. So I saw on YouTube a random shot on YouTube where a cheetah was not like cheetah can only meow like a cat. It cannot roar. So this became a question. I got 2 plus marks. Pure luck. Or we can say uh, having an interest beyond UPSC also helps. So a lot of factors. Uh, yes. Done for today. Okay, so we can end. So how many of you are appearing for this prelims? Next year? 2028. Anthropology is a very good subject. You will not regret it. At least in terms of interest, I can assure that you will enjoy reading it. I'm not saying anything about the marks. You will enjoy reading it. Just kidding. This year, you can go through the mark sheets. People have scored really well. A lot of people have scored good in anthropology. In fact, uh, I have a friend who has a rank solely because of anthropology. In other papers, he could not do well this time. So you can consider this subject. Yes. Initially, I did not study GS mains. I studied only after I cleared last year prelims. So I could do only limited. I spent most of my time in attending lectures, could not do the enough answer writing. But then I improved upon my shortcomings. Multiple revisions make sense there too. And having original content from the newspaper, that helps in GS too. That's they are out of questions now. Maybe I started boring them. Yes.
Please come closer a little bit. Have you noticed something in his persona? He's very calm, very nice. What else? He articulates, he thinks, and then he speaks. Very good. What else? He is trying to balance. What is balance?
गिर नहीं गया बोलते बोलते.
Okay. Do you believe you are balanced? You believe in postmodernism, that I know, because we have discussed a lot about postmodernism. And if you are studying anthropology with me, you will start believing in postmodernism naturally, right? So there's nothing called balance then, right? There are points of view, right? But we may find them as balanced. Very nice. But yes, indeed, he tries to take care of multiple voices, right? That there do exist multiple points of view, so you don't want to discredit, reject any point of view on a face of it. That's what you may be referring to the balances. Very good. Okay, so that's again a point of view, right? Okay, what else? Clarity of what? Purpose? Purpose and thought. Okay, how would you differentiate between purpose and thought? You must start thinking now. Now see, if you want to achieve something, you must have a clarity on everything. Suppose you are using a particular word, what does it mean? if you start thinking that way, UPSC is easy. UPSC demands only that. Okay, what else? Yes, you feel connected, you can relate to him, that I can also reach at the same position, and that's what is needed also. Right, suppose you are in the interview and the interviewer feel that this person cannot handle success, इसको पावर देना ठीक नहीं है, पावर नहीं मिलेगी. Right, they don't like anyone who would be too arrogant with power, isn't it? That's a very important personality trait, and you are good observers also. Very good, you started passing judgments. Isn't it? Anything else that you have noticed? You are all anthropologists, you know that, because you are studying human. I am trying to make you anthropologist. You are making judgments, and everything that you know about anthropology is a kind of judgment, a theory, a generalization, a way of looking at humans. So we generally look at individuals, and then this individual is a part of a larger group of selected candidates. So you try to make sense of the topper's mindset, that means topper's behavior. In a sense, the mindset and behavior is connected. What you think, what you do, both are interrelated, isn't it? So when you are trying to understand behavior of the toppers, basically you are doing an anthropological inquiry, isn't it? We all do on a regular basis, but can we call this anthropology? No. What is anthropology then? Anthropology requires a methodology. That means I can study his behavior in a particular way, and the same methodology can be used by you, and you can reach to almost similar results using the same methodology. That is the method of doing anthropology. Okay? Okay, so let's leave that theoretical baggage for a now. Let's come back to the learnings from his interaction. So suppose you want to achieve the same success and maybe better than that, you want to come in the top 10. What you need to do? Have you got a little clarity on that? Right? So make a clear framework of what to do and how to do. Suppose you face difficulty in that. So Rishab and many other our friends are there, right? We teachers are here, right? And one more thing that I would like to say, that having a clarity of purpose is one of the most important thing in life. If you are not clear what to do, every you can say journey is tough, right? Every exam is tough, and I tell you that this exam is not at all tough if you have clarity of purpose, right? If you don't have, it's much tougher. The other things that make this exam tougher are whether you are committed to your purpose or not. If you are not committed, that means either your clarity is not there, or somebody has forced that purpose on you, right? Maybe your friends whom you are watching, maybe a topper's interview, maybe your parents are forcing you to do preparation for this exam, right? So commitment would only come when you have clarity of purpose that you actually want to achieve, and if you are committed, you would consistently do hard work, right? You will consistently do hard work in a desired direction. You will look for help, you will find mentors, you will find like-minded colleagues with whom you can do a disciplined and consistent hard work. And if you do all these things, you would be very confident. You would be much confident with you can say with respect to anyone else. And if you are confident, that's what makes you different, right? Virat Kohli को भी debut करने को मौका मिला था, तो there were many people, right? Maybe equally talented, equally you can say hardworking, but that confidence somehow made him apart from them. right? He performs very well whenever need is. That's what you remember. So anyone who is in the top, you can say 100 list, top 1000 list, right? 116 what Rishab has. So it is a reflection of certain things, right? It is a reflection of the collection of some personality traits that you must seek out. These are there in you. You just need to find out, polish, tune in. That's what, right? Every person is equally capable, right? He did not mention this. Let me mention psychic unity, right? We are equally capable to do everything that we want to achieve. The question is whether we want to do it or not, isn't it? So if you really want to do it, start going on. And in this journey, one more thing that I wanted to tell is that you are flooded with information. You are living in a world where information is from everywhere, and you are not conditioned to handle that much information. When so much information is pounded to your senses, you become distracted, confused, anxious, and in a state of panic, I would say, right? That confusion is a state of liminality. He mentioned, I believe, right? So how to handle that confusion then? That's a very important thing. How to come out of the confusion? Either you limit the amount of information coming towards you, what he had mentioned, for a step or anything, devices you can use, right? And the second thing, you must know how, and you can say what information is important for me and how I can get it. That means you have someone as a guide who consistently nudge you, ये करना है, ये नहीं करना है. वो गाइड पेरेंट्स हो सकते हैं, आपके क्लोज फ्रेंड्स सीनियर्स हो सकते हैं, आपके टीचर्स हो सकते हैं. डू फाइंड समवन हु कॉन्स्टेंटली नजेस यू, who can tell you कि तुम गलत कर रहे हो, right? And make sure you listen to him or her. That can be your mother, that can be your father, that can be anyone to whom you trust, right? Make sure you stay away from distractions if you really want success, right? The brain rot is real actually, right? The confusion that we see in the society, everyone is confused. No one has a clarity what to do, how to do, right? How not to do, right? It is the problem of choices. You go to a restaurant, you're confused which food to order. You go to a you can say clothing store, you're confused which one to buy. You come to UPSC preparation, you are confused which optional to choose, which coaching to join. The problem is choices, right? The choices are problem. How to handle it? So here the key is clarity. How to get clarity? So that can be your seniors, your friends, or someone whom you can really trust. Clarity is very, very important. So avoid the, or you can say limit the amount of data, the information coming towards you, and discriminately use that information. If you have limited content, you can analyze it, you can critically think over it, you can use it. But if you have too much content, you cannot process it because you are not conditioned for it, है ना? आपका ब्रेन उस चीज के लिए कंडीशनड ही नहीं है. आपकी मेंटल मसल्स में इतनी पावर ही नहीं है इतना डेटा को होल्ड कर पाए. होता है ना कि आपकी मसल होल्ड कर सकती है 100 kg and you are given 500 kgs. What would happen? There will be breakdown of muscle fibers. That is what is happening. That is what is happening to almost entire Gen Zs. All the Gen Zs are suffering from the same. Some who are out of that distracted world, they are in the list. Competition is very low now. I'm telling you. I'm telling you honestly, competition is very low if you think, if you can manage your emotions, if you can control yourself. Those who can control, they can succeed. And the problem is on our own creation. Right? Let me tell you one more beautiful thing. Right? Whatever we have created is controlling us. Culture controlling us, society controlling us, family controlling us, religion controlling us, economy controlling us, AI controlling us, social media controlling us. Everything that human created is controlling human himself. Why we have created everything for our own control? Why? Because human is very weak and human is aware of it. Human is aware of it. Human cannot survive on its own. So human created everything to control himself. That control allowed him to cooperate with other fellow human beings, and that cooperation, that network allowed him to survive, that allowed him to dominate this planet Earth. And maybe we will dominate Mars, we will dominate maybe this solar system, right? Or maybe this universe. If we are all alone, we don't know, right? I believe you understand what is it. So anthropology is something that is everywhere. You just need the lenses, right? You have the lenses of almost everything that I call, or not I call, I learned the theory of schemas, schema theory, right? Schema means the packets of information about almost everything. So what we will be doing in anthropology, we will be giving you some packets of information about looking at this reality in and around you. What is happening in and around you, you will get that. I will be giving you a pair of, you can say not pair, multiple lenses to look at this world. So anthropology would open your horizons to understand the socio-cultural as well as the natural phenomena, right? That's anthropology. Okay, any question that any one of you have in particular with me or to Rishab now, you can ask. And one thing I can definitely say that I am more than happy, you know, and when I say I am happy, so I as a teacher will be more than happy when my students use theories or the concepts that I have taught them, right, or the things that I have discussed with them, right? That is the happiest moment. You know, when does the parents get happy? Although I'm not looking like a parent, right? I may look a little younger now. You can look at my earlier photos. You'll find I was much older and fatter, and now I have lost weight, so I have become much slimmer. So maybe you will find that I'm younger now, right? Okay, I have to tell this. Okay, so what I was saying that this in this preparation of UPSC, if suppose I could be of any help, he could be of any help, or anyone could be of any help, we are always here, right? If you need any other question, please do ask. I forgot what I was saying actually. What I was saying at that moment, anybody remember? Yes, so as a you can say, when your kids or you can say your younger siblings, they tell the stories or the things that you have taught them, that's the happiest moment, isn't it? So I used to discuss almost everything with these people, I think, and we used to discuss freely in the faculty room during the mains preparation. Many of they used to come, and he was the one who used to come regularly, uh, especially for this mains. Uh, and this is the thing that you also develop a good connect. You understand what is happening, and this information can be used in which particular way. Okay. And he must be telling one more thing, that I had a group of 3-4 students, right? Say Adhyan was there, Akanksha was there, right? Bhushan, right? These 3-4 people, they used to discuss on a regular basis. These discussions shape your ideas, consolidate your knowledge. You can start looking at things critically also. You can have better retention power when you discuss with people. राइट. कॉन्सेप्चुअल डेप्थ कैसे आएगा? क्रिटिकली एनालाइज करके आएगा. अब एनालिसिस करते ही नहीं हो आप, लीनियर पढ़ते हो. ठीक है. जनरली एक मैं बहुत सारे लोगों में मैंने देखा है, कुछ लोग कहते हैं मार्क्स नहीं आ रहे हैं. आई आस्क देम द लिंक बिटवीन वन टॉपिक एंड द अदर. Then I asked the second question, link between two topics, and if they cannot address, then I simply found that you were reading anthropology in a linear way, in a isolates. That means one unit is an isolate, another unit is an isolate. But what I started with, that anthropology is an integrated study. One aspect is linked to the another. If you are not able to link, that means you don't have conceptual clarity and you cannot get marks, right? What he was saying that unless you understand a topic completely, you cannot write good answers. That's natural, because you cannot integrate one thing with the another, right? So that thing you need to learn using your integrationist approach. You need to think critically कि ये topic दूसरे से link कैसे होगा. And if you can link two topics, you can link current affairs also. You can link your information of history, maybe economics, maybe geography, with anthropology. Then you getting my point? Everything is connected. You are conditioning your brain in a particular way. So if you can condition your brain to behave in a particular way, say by interlinking the concepts of anthropology itself, so that is also helping you to integrate anthropological knowledge with current affairs, anthropological knowledge with geography. It's all about the conditioning of your mind, how you condition, right? So what Rishab has done, Rishab has lived anthropology actually, right? And he tried to utilize this, I think, almost everywhere. He used that in essay paper, he used that in ethics paper, he must have used in GS also, right? Naturally, and it will naturally come. It is not like that you are deliberately doing it. You will not realize sometime that you are doing anthropology actually. Say when he was saying about reciprocity, that I am teaching someone, someone is teaching me, that is reciprocity. So he had learned that from, say, economic anthropology, but it is being used in a day-to-day life. So he had that framework or that schema of looking at things, and he is using everywhere, right? So every you can say discipline, every subject give you some point of view, that means way of looking at things, some spectacles, some lenses to understand the things, and you need to live with them. You need to you can say understand things with them. Then you would be successful. Then you can think that you will fetch good marks, right? It's not like marks ana or rote learning is simultaneous. You can say they are synonyms. No, they are not. Conceptual clarity is the first thing. Second thing, you must have something in mind. That means those concepts must be there in your mind, otherwise you cannot reproduce them quickly. We used to discuss that it's not the speed of your hand, it's the speed of your thought, isn't it? He must be telling you it's not the speed of your hand, because hand speed doesn't matter, है ना. हाथ की स्पीड सबकी उतनी ही फास्ट है. How I'm saying so? Because you can write that in the class. The speed of writing in the class is much faster. If you can write there, you can write anywhere. Hand speed doesn't matter then. So what matters then? The speed of thinking. Why the speed of thinking is slow? One thing is that you do not understand the question. You cannot decode the question. What is the demand of the question? Second thing, you know the demand of the question, but you cannot structure the answer. What would be there in the introduction? What would be there in the body? What would be there in the conclusion? Third thing that can reduce your speed is the jargon, or you can say the command over the language. After writing every word, you think, ab kya likhu? Ab kya likhu? So if you are thinking after every single word, that means you don't have command over language. That also sometime you can say act as a breaker, act as a speed reducer. So do work on almost everything. It's a collective thing. It's not like just working in one area can give you success. If you look at his mark sheet, you will find that he has done pretty well in almost everything. His SS score, his GS scores, ethics, his anthropology, almost everywhere he has done a very decent thing. And that's what I say, that he has a holistic, or you can say overall, you can say claim for the candidacy of this coveted service, right? So on that note, I wish all of the best to all of you, as well as to Rishab for his grand success and a very good career ahead in the future. Anything else you want to ask, say, please do ask. Or you are too tired? Not tired, but you are out of questions. Okay, या तो फिर आपने पढ़ा नहीं, तभी क्वेश्चंस नहीं आए, या सब समझ में आ गया. दो ही चीज होती है ना. If there are no questions, that means either you have studied well or you haven't studied at all, you haven't heard at all. Okay, so what message you want to give?
Was not prepared for this, sir.
That's what the spontaneity comes in.
I think I already mentioned about confidence. Optimism is something which helps you sustain through this exam cycle. I already said that I was not sure of getting a rank. Nobody is. But you have to have the faith. And that will come only after you have done the necessary effort. You cannot expect a rank unless you have put the efforts. So stay optimistic. That is the message I think I like to give.
Stay hopeful and you will be there. है ना? All is well. Right? All is well हो जाएगा. है ना? This is cognitive behavioral therapy. We do study that also in linguistic anthropology, isn't it? See, you look at things through language. You can tell me anything that has no word for it. Tell me something, anyone? If you can think of anything that has no word for it, I would be more than happy. There is something that is there in a song. Shabdon se keh na saku. There is something that cannot be described. Actually, there is nothing. Anything that you know, or me know, or anybody knows is through words. Right? You can only look at this world through words. So language is that beautiful aspect of your life. So positive language can reinforce your confidence, negative language can break you down. Isn't it? So you have words for that also. Somebody told you about that. If somebody have not told you about that, about the feelings, about the connect, you would not have known those things. If I know something, somebody have told me. Otherwise, how would I know? If society has not taught you anything or did not provide you a scope or experience about anything, we would not have known. Everything that you and me know is through society and culture. Sometimes we reject some cultural elements or societal elements, but we do know through society primarily. Although that's a deterministic thought, there are critiques to it, but I do believe in that thing. Right? I do believe that there are limitations, and in a postmodernism there is a thought called intertextuality. Right? Intersubjectivity. Intertextuality means the text that I am reading or somebody have written, they were not in isolation, they have been influenced by someone else. Right? So everything that I know is an influence by someone or something. It's not that I can have thought in isolation. Or can I have? Can I have thought in isolation? Even if you say that I was sitting alone somewhere, please do go. Right? So if you say that you can have a thought in isolation, it's a weird idea. Right? I think now this is the time of class also, right? And we have taken a lot of time of yours. All the very best. Thank you very much for joining us. All the very best. Good luck. Take care. 1st May and 3 p.m. onwards, right? Yeah, it will be here only. All the best.